Welcome to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I'm mocking, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. And I have a great one for you today. We're going to be traveling over to ESPN, taking a look at the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT himself, Mel Kiper Jr. and his new mock draft. Special thanks to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring today's video. More on them a little bit later. Let's go ahead, get into this sucker. And full disclosure, because I've seen this in the comments of these Mock the Mock videos, this isn't my mock draft. I don't know why some of y'all think this is my mock draft. You think ESPN would let this guy write for them? No, I don't think they would. Not my mock draft. Mel Kiper Jr., with the first overall pick, has the Tennessee Titans, assuming there aren't trades, going with Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami, and he is currently the odds-on favorite. Listen, if you're the Titans, I think you take the swing. You're sitting here picking first overall. Cam Ward, I think, has the upside to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's got the bigger arm because, let's be honest, you're down to two quarterbacks here. It's Cam Ward or Colorado's Shedeur Sanders. I would rather swing on the upside, swing on the bigger arm, the better athleticism of Cam Ward. I don't disagree with this pick. You could trade this for a bevy of picks, but I don't know how that saves Brian Callahan's job if he is indeed on the hot seat. If he's given a longer leash, then yeah, sure, I might be willing to trade out of this pick. All right, we got the Cleveland Browns. They're going to be going with Travis Hunter, wide receiver / corner out of Colorado. Some of y'all want this to be Abdul Carter, of course, if it's not quarterback. And I don't disagree with that Abdul Carter pick. I think it's a very, very sexy option to pair him up with Myles Garrett. But I'm not against Travis Hunter either. The question is, what does Hunter play in the NFL? Is he going to be a full-time wide receiver? Is he going to be a full-time corner? Is he going to be playing both sides of the ball? I highly doubt that. But is he going to moonlight at the other position? I think it's a lot harder for him to moonlight at corner than it is at wide receiver. So part of me thinks, okay, maybe he's a full-time corner who plays 10 to 15 snaps at wide receiver. Regardless, you're getting a hell of a good player. Dare I say, I think he's in the same tier as Tetairoa McMillan when it comes to wide receivers. It's just a different type of wide receiver. Tetairoa, he's big, he's long, he's tough to bring down. Hunter, great ball skills, really good after the catch. When it comes to what he brings as a corner, he brings those ball skills on the other side of the ball. Greg Newsome's up for a contract after this next season. So I don't think it's a bad pick. But if you want to go with Abdul Carter, I'm not against that either. You like the NFL draft. Matter of fact, you love the NFL draft, which means you're going to love my draft guide. If you want to know every player your team drafts or even signs as an undrafted free agent, then this is for you. My draft guide updates every day, and you'll be able to see those updates in real time as I add new evals and player backgrounds. It'll have analytics from this year and last year. It'll have the pro day and combine numbers. It'll even have my notes from the senior and Shrine Bowl. It's a one-time purchase of $30 via PayPal, Venmo, or the Cash App. You can check out the pinned comment or the description if you want to follow those links. And when you do purchase it, please be sure to include your email because it is a Google spreadsheet. So I'm going to require your email. Don't make me hunt it down because I will hunt you down. I will find you and I'll make sure you get your money's worth. Anywho, thanks for supporting the channel. Okay, we got the New York Giants. They're going to go with Shedeur Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado. Giants fans really hate this pick, or at least some of the ones in my comment section. And I'm like, think of it like this. Like you essentially have one more year as Brian Daboll and you got Joe Shane. Y'all are going to get replaced. Y'all are the office is on fire. Y'all probably got one more year. If you suck considerably, then if there's no signs of like life, you're gone. So you got to bring a quarterback in. You can say, oh yeah, maybe we do that via free agency or a trade. Like, I don't think that's likely. I think you're kind of hoping and praying that it'll happen at 3, or if not, you probably have to move up to 2. But either way, someone needs to come in and give you some consistency at the quarterback position. I think Shedeur can do that. I really do. He might not have the highest of upsides, but a lot of people said that about guys like Joe Burrow or Brock Purdy. And those are guys who have led their teams to the Super Bowl. Granted, not won it, but they have led their teams to the Super Bowl. So, I think it's worth the swing if I'm the head coach, if I'm the GM, knowing that you might not have tomorrow. New England Patriots, they're going to go with Abdul Carter, edge, out of Penn State. I like this. I really think the Patriots are going to figure out the offensive line via free agency. They have so much money to spend. Go out, get some offensive linemen. You don't have to force a need pick here. Just take the best player on the board. You could definitely use some more pass rush. Abdul Carter, he would do that for you. I'm sure new head coach Mike Vrabel would love that. Jacksonville Jaguars are going to go with Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan. I'm always between the two Michigan prospects with this pick, whether it be the corner Will Johnson. I kind of like him better because I think corner is kind of a bigger hole for the Jaguars. Man, someone keeps giving me mess about how I say Jaguars. Listen. If you mad about how I say a word, you're just stupid. You're a clown. You're an idiot. Why I'm out here venting. I should be talking about Mason Graham. Listen, you're gonna be adding him to defensive interior with Eric Armstead. You're developing Mason Taylor, but why not get just a sick, nasty rotation, throwing Mason Graham into the fold there? Your defensive line. I mean, what would help the corner position? Having discussed in pass rush, Graham helps accomplish that. So I'm not mad at it. Again, I'm always between him and Will Johnson. Las Vegas Raiders are going to go with Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona. Listen, if you're going to miss out on the quarterback, you might as well get some playmakers. And Tetairoa McMillan is a playmaker. You're going to add him there with Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. I like that. I like that quite a bit. Who's going to be playing quarterback? Hell if I know. But if the top two are off the board, you're going to have to pivot. Just going to have to. Pick 7. We have the New York Jets. They're going to go with Mikael Williams, edge out of Georgia. So the Jets are a bit of a mystery when it comes to what they may do, just because you don't know what's going to go on with Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers this offseason. They did just hire Aaron Glenn. So I could definitely see Aaron Glenn come into this draft, be like, nope, let's fortify this defense. I personally would take Will Johnson here. I get it with the upside of Mikael Williams. He was someone people will look at the pass rush win rate. And you got to look at it with context, because I know it's not that high, but this is someone who's worked inside and outside. So it's not like you're getting really true pass rushes from the edge position from him. So I imagine if he was playing edge full time for Georgia, those numbers would be a little bit better. He was also going through a high ankle sprain, or at least trying to play through a high ankle sprain this season. We have seen moments of dominance. Now, this isn't me trying to vouch for him being a top 10 pick. I get to like pick 20, and that's kind of the area I start to think about him. Maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit after. But that's kind of where I start to think about Mikael Williams. But you're going to be able to pair him up there with Jermaine Johnson. You have Will McDonald there. I still love the idea with DJ Reed being a free agent, getting another corner. I think that's just a very, very sexy idea. But before we get to pick 8, let's give a shout out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. If you sign up, use promo code Broshmo, because they will match your first deposit up to $1,000. They do weekly best ball. My favorite is higher, lower on player stats. That could be in the NFL. We got the playoffs, the conference championships this weekend. Or you could do it for basketball. They do all kinds of sports. They even have e-gaming. So if you want to get in on the action over at Underdog Fantasy, don't forget to sign up using promo code Broshmo, and they will match that first deposit up to $1,000. Matter of fact, they have daily promos. So check it out. But as always, play responsibly, play within your means. Carolina Panthers, they're going with Jalen Walker, edge out of Georgia. So for me, I think the Panthers, this would be a spot like you're considering an edge. And with Will Johnson on the board, I would consider Will Johnson as well. I think JC Horn's a free agent. Even if they bring him back, you're probably going to want to bring just more talent. This is a defense that you just need to elevate the ceiling of talent. With Jalen Walker, you're getting someone who you're at least hoping is a edge full time. I think he's been at his best at Georgia when playing off the edge, but he has shown some ability and coverage as well. He's a very versatile piece in that regard. Pick 9, New Orleans Saints. They go with Will Johnson, corner out of Michigan. So Paulson Adebo is a free agent. He's a free agent. Obviously, you trade away Marshawn Lattimore. You still have Kool-Aid McKinstry there. You got Alontae Taylor there. Alontae Taylor could work inside and out, though. Who else? Am I missing someone there for the Saints? Here, let me just go take a quick look at the roster just to be sure. I think safety is also an interesting thought here. I kind of prefer if they go with the trenches, whether it's offensive line or defensive line. But okay, let's look at who played for this team last year. Alontae Taylor played a hell of a lot of snaps, but again, this is a guy, he played 358 snaps in the slot, so he's playing inside and out. Kool-Aid played a bunch and honestly looked very good. And then yeah, that other corner spot's open. They had Ugo Amadi playing a bulk of the snaps there. So yeah, I don't think Paulson Adebo, he maybe comes back on a smaller contract, but he broke his leg. He's not going to be back for a minute. So I imagine they probably move on. And Will Johnson, this is great value here, so I like it. Chicago Bears are going to go with Will Campbell, tackle/guard out of LSU. I don't mind them helping the offensive line. I mean, dude, Ben Johnson just came from one of, if not the best offensive lines in football. If he wants to come in here and be like, no, we need to have a good offensive line, let's get to it. And he could go address it in free agency, but also do it here in the draft. Will Campbell, bring him into camp, figure out if he's your tackle, if he's your guard. Either way, I get the mindset. I like it. He also has versatility on both sides of the offensive line. He played 4 years at right tackle in high school and then 3 years at left tackle for LSU. The San Francisco 49ers go with Kelvin Banks, tackle out of Texas. This is another team that I think needs to focus on the trenches, whether that be on the offensive side of the football or on the defensive side of the football. Focus the trenches. Kelvin Banks, he could be your heir apparent to Trent Williams. He could challenge for right tackle early in his career, or you could even plug him at left guard with Aaron Banks being a free agent. The possibilities, they're almost endless. He's my tackle one, by the way. Dallas Cowboys are going to go with Luther Burden, wide receiver out of Mizzou. Okay, let's read this. Yes, it's a mock draft without Ashton Jeanty going to Dallas. Okay, well, now I'm intrigued where he may go. So I don't mind this, like, because you need to get some more help in terms of pass catchers outside of CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. Like, we've seen a little bit here and there with Jalen Tolbert, but not enough for me to be like, yep, nope, it's solved. I think getting Luther Burden a nasty after the catch target would be perfect. He had 29 forced missed tackles this past season. Also, I am curious to see who will be the new head coach and DC, OC, all that good stuff. Sounded like, who did they interview recently? Was it Schottenheimer? I don't know. All right, Miami Dolphins, pick 13. They go with Malachi Starks. This is your Malachi Starks landing spot. Who would have thought? Javon Holland, he's a free agent. I hope the Dolphins bring him back. We should re-sign the guys that we draft and that play well for us. I know he's coming off a down year, but The secondary, it's a volatile position. You're going to have good years, bad years. I think for the most part, though, Javon Holland, he has been very good for us. 3 really good years for us. So I want them to bring him back. But the other safety position next to him is also wide open. Poyer, free agent. I think getting a versatile piece like Starks, I get it. I understand it. Other positions I'd rather go, well, offensive line, but we need a guard. Do you want to take a guard at 13? Probably not. You can make the case here for edge. I think edge is very appealing here for the Dolphins as well. The Indianapolis Colts, they go with Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State. Dude, stinking. Okay. Colts fans, they love this pick. Haha, best pick ever. It is what it is. Listen, you did not pass to the tight end a ton last year. You could be like, oh, well, the position wasn't good. 15% of your passing volume went to the tight end. Mind you, Anthony Richardson is your quarterback. How many passing attempts are you going to have per game? So how valuable would it be to take a tight end here? That's what I'm stuck on. This isn't like, oh, Tyler Warren bad. No, Tyler Warren, good. He very good. It's just, I don't know how big of a role or how big of an addition does this really mean to the offense. That's just my take. Okay, pick 15. This is the Atlanta Falcons. They go with Shamar Stewart, defensive end out of Texas A&M. So they're getting a versatile body right here. 6'6", 290, mainly played on the outside. Very athletic. He would probably primarily play outside of the tackle. And they're going to keep guys like Ruka Rohoro, Brandon Dorless as interior players and figure out what their best fit is. I would just love a guy that I don't have to worry about being necessarily the bendiest guy. Like, he's got good athletic traits for 6'6", 290. I don't know if that's really going to... I don't know if that's going to translate consistently outside the tackle, but... guy, I'm telling y'all, strap in. If you don't know about Shamar Stewart, he's probably going to be a hot riser during the process. All right, Arizona Cardinals go with Tyler Booker, guard out of Alabama. What? Oh, excuse me. Golly, I did not see this one coming. I'm going to have to take a sip of hot tea. What? What? All right. Let's read this. I'd love for Arizona to land a pass rusher here after a finish 26th in pressure rate, but the board isn't cooperating, dude. I would take James Pierce, Mike Green, even Nick Scorton. Like, it'd be a reach. It'd be a reach to you, Mel. Look at that. It'd be a reach to take James Pierce or Mike Green or Nick Scorton here. It's a reach to you, Mel. Right, I get it that like Will Hernandez is a free agent, but like I don't love it. I don't love it. And I like Tyler Booker. He's like a fringe first rounder though. He's more of a top 50, maybe early to mid second for me. If I were gonna take a guard, it would be Donovan Jackson, who might end up being a tackle. So, all right, fascinated. Arizona Cardinals. The Cincinnati Bengals here at pick 17 are going to go with Jahad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama. If you're drafting him, I really hope it's not to play linebacker. The Bengals haven't hired a DC as of yet, correct? Bengals defensive coordinator. Because Coach Lou is now DCing for the Colts. No, but they say Al Golden is a favorite for the job. Okay, so nothing set in stone right now. Let's read this. So I'm matching them with a prospect who does a little bit of everything on that side of the football. Okay. I mean, you got 2 good linebackers in Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt. I want the pass rusher. I want the pass rush. All right, fascinating pick. Let's keep moving. Seattle Seahawks go with Armand Membu, tackle / guard out of Missouri. This is also going to be a very popular mock or pick for the Seahawks. He played right guard or right tackle at Missouri. He's got the frame. He's got the build of a guard. But golly, he's so athletic that I do believe he could make it as a tackle in the NFL. Lincoln Tomlinson's a free agent. You desperately need guard help. And Abraham Lucas, he's often injured. So that's just kind of a ticking time bomb. So the pick of Membu makes sense here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're going to go with Nick Emanuari, safety out of South Carolina. Okay. I mean, I typically like going edge, but that's fun as hell. He says here, Emanuari is going to be a red hot prospect through the pre-draft process. Going to get to pair him up with Antoine Winfield. I mean, the Bucs had a lot, and I mean a lot, of injuries at the safety position, including Antoine Winfield. But you also had Chris Eisen go down, go to the IR. Tyke Smith's mainly a slot, but he was a little banged up this year. I believe, did Whitehead, did he partially tear his pec or something? And he missed part of the back end of the season? Regardless, I get it. And I mean, in a class that's stacked at edge, stacked on the defensive line, you can make that pick on day 2. Denver Broncos, they go with Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State. Listen, if you don't have him going to the Cowboys, Denver's the next likely scenario, next likely spot, because Javonte Williams is a free agent. Audric Estime has been all right. He's been okay. Jaleel McLaughlin, he's had some highs and some lows. There's no one Sean Payton trusts there in the backfield. Jeanty could be that guy. Okay, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers going with Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. I like this pick actually quite a bit. You get a reliable chain mover in Emeka Egbuka to pair up with Pickens, who's kind of this alpha X, or at the very least, big play, deep threat that just plays my ball. I like that. Regardless who ends up being the quarterback, whether it be Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, maybe a guy you draft this year or someone in free agency. I like the idea of getting a little bit more consistency in the wide receiver room. Los Angeles Chargers, they're going to go with Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. So you get Harbaugh gets to reunite with his former Michigan player there in Loveland. You get a pass catcher who's not going to drop balls. Sorry. Not trying to throw any shade your way, Will Disley, but you're a good blocking tight end. But you get an actual receiver, an actual pass catcher that can make a difference. I mean, he could play wide. He could play in the slot. Like he's very versatile in that regard. Pick 23, Mike Green, edge out of Marshall, going to the Green Bay Packers. Oh boy, I like this. I like this quite a bit. Listen, this Green Bay pass rush was so mid. Like Rashawn Gary isn't the guy that the Packers signed, like paid for. Like he's been fine, but he's not been elite. Not been elite for a couple of years now. Lucas Van Ness has been slowly coming along, but still it's like you're wanting more. So yeah, they could definitely go out and get an edge. They could address the defensive line. TJ Slaton's a free agent. That's 450 some steps you're gonna have to replace. Like you could make a case for corner here, but I think the pick is definitely defense for the Packers. Minnesota Vikings are going to go with Benjamin Morrison, corner out of Notre Dame. Dude, I still pound the table thinking like this guy could have been a top 10 pick if not for the hip injury. Hopefully everything checks out well at the combine. The Vikings are going to be losing 3 starters to free agency when it comes to the cornerback room. Stephon Gilmore, Shaquille Griffin, and Byron Murphy. That'll really just leave them with... was it Mekhi Blackman, who missed the season with I forgot, was it an ACL as well? I can't remember, but like he ended up getting hurt early in camp. So like they're left with nothing. They're going to have to retool that room real quick. Houston Texans, they're going to go with Josh Simmons, tackle out of Ohio State. So reading the back end of this, the Texans have Laramie Tunzel under contract for 2 more seasons, but Simmons could fit in at right tackle. Yeah, so it'd be like, oh, well, sorry, Blake Fisher. Just didn't work out as a rookie. I guess that's fine. I mean, and Titus Howard's already playing guard, so like I get going with offensive line. So if you just want to take the best offensive lineman, I think that's a-okay. I also like taking defensive interior because it has yet to come off the board outside of Mason Graham. So the value is there. Like the Texans had probably, in my opinion, one of the less stellar defensive interior groups in the NFL. Pick 26, Josh Connerly Jr., tackle out of Oregon, going to the Rams. Alaric Jackson's a free agent, but even if they bring him back, Rob Havenstein's up there in years. He had a rough go at it in the divisional game against the Eagles. I like Connerly. I think he's actually a good fit for Sean McVay in this scheme. I know this is a player Todd McShay has it in his top 10. I actually think Alex from Hail Sports has him in his top 10. Oh, maybe not. I think we have him rated similarly. I don't know. I got him close, like sniffing around that top 20, but the movement skills are great with Connerly. Pick 27. Baltimore Ravens are going to go with Siobhan Revel, corner out of ECU. The dude is a freak. He's like 6'3", 193 pounds, moves exceptionally well. People are going to be like, well, I mean, he didn't play against top competition. Neither did Quinnion Mitchell. But you could go back to 2023 and watch Revel have a great game against Michigan. Again, 2023, not this past Michigan team, but the national championship team. He had a good game. I don't think he's going to be able to test out, unfortunately, because he had an early season ACL injury. But we already know he's a really good athlete who was showing off some of those ball skills, had a pick 6 before getting hurt. Brandon Stevens, he's a free agent, but also he's, in my opinion, he's kind of mid anyway. So if you're looking for a better corner to play next to Nate Wiggins with Marlon Humphrey, playing mainly in the slot, but he's bouncing inside and out, I don't mind the Revel pick. I don't. Detroit Lions get James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. Listen, I think he's a top 10 player. There, I said it. He might not have all the pounds yet, but golly, dude, he was productive. He is probably one of the most explosive players in this class. As he continues to put on weight, you're going to have more confidence with him as a run defender, which I already think he improved this season. So him being this low, in my opinion, is a bit of a steal. All right. We got the Washington Commanders taking Nick Scorton, defensive tackle or defensive edge, out of Texas A&M. Oh, man. This is kind of like he's built like a Dan Quinn defensive end. He's just built like a Dan Quinn defensive end. Oh, man. And we've seen the big upside from him going back to Purdue. He had more of a moderate year last season. It was still very solid, but it wasn't what we saw. Like, it wasn't as like disruptive as it was at Purdue, but he's a very good run defender. I think you're getting a very good 3-down player. You just get better players to rush the line, so you can't be mad at it. Buffalo Bills go with Maxwell Harrison, corner out of Kentucky. All right. So he was plagued by a shoulder injury this year. But there's no denying, man, this he's a ball hawk. He's a difference maker at the corner position. And this is actually I think the best scheme he could go to. I think he's a hand and glove fit for the Bills. Might be a little early for me, maybe at the back end of the second. But then again, Harrison going to be at the Senior Bowl. Maybe he goes ahead and just, at least for me, restarts that rise in stock, because like he was essentially, I think, a top 50 player for me headed into the year. If not, he was somewhere around there. And then again, just kind of the injury, other players started to move up my board and whatnot. So I don't know. I like the hand and glove fit. I think it's a little too early, but to be fair, that might not be the case the closer we get to the draft. Pick 31, Kansas City Chiefs going to take Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. Phenomenal value here. If you get to add him to that defensive line with Chris Jones, I'm dead, dude. This is a former 5-star who, over the course of this past offseason, put on 15 pounds to be more of an interior player because A&M, they played him both inside and outside. He goes to Ole Miss, was like, I want to mainly play from like the 3 tech, and absolutely went off. Sky is the limit. I think it's only up here for Walter Nolan. And then with the final pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select, Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan. Let's read this. GM Howie Roseman favors the trenches in round 1, so don't be surprised if he finds another impact defensive tackle with the Eagles' first pick. Yes, it would be the 3rd time in 4 years that he used a day 1 selection on the position, being Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. And according to ESPN research, we've seen a team do that only 3 times in the common draft era. Okay, fun fact. But hey, if the Eagles are picking at number 32, it means they won the Super Bowl. The strategy is working. Plus, Milton Williams is a free agent. Grant's instincts and ability to bat the ball at the line of scrimmage would be welcomed in Philly. He also gives a shout out to Donovan Ezaraku. Excuse me. Okay, this is fascinating, but and I know that the Eagles like to keep a strength, but don't you feel like this is a little too much? I don't know. Maybe that's me. Go ahead. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. I've been slowly pumping out my rankings for each position for the 2025 NFL Draft prior to the Senior Bowl. So if you haven't checked out any of those, check them out. I'm going to have wide receiver out hopefully this weekend. But as always, until next time, be easy, my friends. Later. Getting choked up here.